Universal Studios' new movie, The Exorcist Believer, continuing that long franchise all the way back from 1973, releases today, and it is looking to be quite the flop. Can you really have an Exorcist movie without God? What is up, everybody? Thank you for being here at Echo Base Network. We are talking about The Exorcist Believer that came out in the movie theaters today. Now, we're going to look at the reviews. We're going to look and see how much money Universal spent on this film and why is it predicted to fail so badly. Let's get into it. First things first, from The Hollywood Reporter, The Exorcist Believer gets a horrifying review after studios gambled $400 million for the rights. I believe it was back in 2021. Universal purchased the rights for the Exorcist franchise for $400 million. They were hoping to pay off. Universal said that it was the biggest gamble in their company's history, pretty much, and I am not sure they've made a good decision. The Hollywood Reporter says the first film in an ambitious planned horror trilogy, they're going to try to make 3 of these, is being read last rights by critics after Universal shelled out $400 million for the rights alone, but could strong box office tracking make the studio's faith pay off? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say no. The first film in a planned horror trilogy, Exorcist Believer, is getting rather poor reviews, scoring only a 27% average on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, there's been a lot of good movies that have scored very poorly from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes, so you can't just take that into account, but why? Why is it scoring so low? What are they saying? Here's a reason why people are against this movie, because they pretty much made it a total generic story, removing the power behind the Exorcist franchise. The power was always good versus evil, God versus demonic powers. And they have totally removed that from the story. You see here from Polygon, The Exorcist Believer abandons the core idea that makes the series great. By getting rid of God, Believer loses its grasp on evil too. So Polygon tells us here the worst victim of all, and they went into an inordinate amount of criticisms for the movie, but this is where it really gets, to their main point. The worst victim of all this flattering of the series is also one of Believer's primary selling points. Ellen Burstyn, who starred in the original Exorcist and reprises her role as Chris McNeil, but she's brought back like the movie's only religious icon, seemingly to add legitimacy to the ideas of universal evil and universal faith, and the claim that the only true solution to any of these problems is using exorcism rituals from all cultures. So let me explain what that means. They are going beyond the story of Christianity or even Judaism. They are saying that in this movie, it is not God the Creator, the Christian God in the Bible, that can drive out an evil spirit, a demon. They have eliminated that from the story. And they even made the story, in terms of all of the reviews, they're saying the story is not about the 2 young girls at all. It's about the parents and about how the parents are reacting to the girls being demon-possessed. And they're on a quest, and they're on a very worldly quest to end the possession of the 2 girls. Who happened to be friends. The girls went out into the woods. They did a seance because one of the girls wanted to have a conversation with her dead mother. I get that. That's a great beginning to a story, right? But if you don't bring in God like The Exorcist did, the original Exorcist film had, the papacy. They had exorcist, true blue exorcist from the Catholic faith, show up, try to cast out the demons, gets possessed himself. All 3 of the first Exorcist movies featured the Catholic Church. This movie doesn't go that route. This movie's trying to say, oh, you can go to the Hindu, you can go to the Buddhist, you can go to this, you can go to that. We're going to have a little mixture of all of it, and that is going to make this movie lose its luster. That approach makes Believer feel like an attempt at a post-God Exorcist movie, one that suggests that everyone has generic faith of some kind. But that approach makes the movie's evil feel equally generic. Believer broadens its religious world so much so that faith, evil, and God no longer mean anything at all. One of the draws to the Exorcist franchise is, man, the Bible and the old stories actually tell us these things really happened. Jesus cast out demons in people, and it made it to where it's like, this is actually reality. This could be historical fiction. Well, when you take the approach that they're doing here at Universal, you pretty much just destroyed that franchise. And if the reviews are accurate, if what the people are saying is true, they're certainly not going to get a trilogy. They won't get a second movie, and they just lost a ton of money because they will not make their $400 million back. The first time I saw The Exorcist, I was in the 7th grade at my channel partner's house, Nick. He made me watch it. I was scared to death. I didn't want to watch it. I was terrified. He made me watch it anyways. I watched it and I couldn't sleep that night. And I still have nightmares today. What's your first memory of watching those movies? What do you think about the Exorcist Believers? Could the reviewers get it wrong? What do you think about the review here saying that they have removed God from the movie, and by doing that, it's lost all of its power, all of its luster, and this franchise is another dead one? Let me know in the comments. We are Echo Base Network. See you on the next one.